Okay, hey you guys, I'm just showing you right now the handouts that you're going to get from the sub today. There's one called Student Handout Challenge 1, learning about the physical geography of Canada and the United States. And this handout, as you can see, is a blank physical feature map of the United States and Canada. And so you'll see just rivers, lakes, oceans, and the outline of the landforms on here. You will not see any political regions like states or countries. Okay, that's number one. Okay, and then on the back side of that is challenge 2, learning about the human geography of Canada and the United States. This one has labels. It has latitude and longitude lines. Actually, they both do. But this one does have those political boundaries, and it doesn't have those physical features like the rivers running through the country or continent. So here in these political boundaries, you'll see some, like this one right here, that are left blank. Part of your job will be to go and to fill those in. So these two sheets, challenge 2 and challenge 1, will be filled out by you in challenges 1 and 2 on the mapping lab, and I'll show you where the directions are for that in just a second. The only reason why you could skip over 1 and 2 here is if you did these in your latitude and longitude challenge practice for the last learning target. So you'd need to produce that for me and show me that you've done that in the last learning target in order to skip this section. Otherwise, all kids should do this, challenge 1 and challenge 2, on these papers handed out to you by the sub today. The directions for what to do on those two maps, as well as what to do for the other parts of this mapping lab, are right here on Google Classroom. It is under Week 5 Work Options. And if you scroll to the bottom, it's called the North America Mapping Lab, Parts 1 through 5. Please make sure this is the one you click on, North America Mapping Lab, Parts 1 through 5. I'm going to click on that. And here you will see the directions for challenge 1. So it says basic because if you complete just this challenge, you would actually get approaching. But if you complete this challenge and the other two challenges, challenges 1, 2, and 3, you will get a basic score. So I'll show you how to get beyond that in just a second. This one says get your physical features map for North America Mapping Lab, challenge 1. I just showed you that map. Right here, this is the one the sub handed out to you. Make sure when you're reading directions for challenge 1, you are using the map that says challenge 1. These directions ask you to use coordinates to locate and label all 15 physical features below on the map. If there's no room to write your label, draw a line from it and show where you have more room to write. Along with the label, record the latitude and longitude coordinates at that location. So for example, with the Rocky Mountains right here, with the Rocky Mountains, it says 45 degrees north and 110 degrees west. So I'm going to go back to my map. And I'm going to find 45 north. So there's 40, there's about 45. And 110 west. Okay, and here's my Rocky Mountain region. So I am going to circle and label it Rocky Mountain region. And I'm just going to put RMR for right now for your sake, or I'm going to try to. And then you also need to record the latitude and longitude coordinates. So that would be 45 north. Sorry, I know this is horrendous to look at. 45 degrees north and 110 west. Okay, you'd write that on directly on the map. Hopefully it looks better than what I just wrote. You are going to do that for all 15 of these features. And then flip your map over to the back side where it says challenge 2, learning about human geography of Canada and the United States. This is the one with the political boundaries. Back here it says to use that challenge 2 map and label and lightly shade all 9 states, territories, and provinces below on your map. So I would need to find Michigan. I would need to label and shade Michigan on the map. And then along with your label, record the latitude and longitude of the coordinates below. So on my map, I'm going to find Michigan. So here I will label and shade Michigan. Okay, so I'm shading and then I also need to label it. And then I will go back to this sheet and I will add the coordinates 45 degrees north and about 85 degrees west. So there are my coordinates for Michigan. So this challenge too, you're going to be using both your map and this sheet. I also forgot to show you on one, make sure you answer the questions. Does this map represent human or physical geography or both? Defend. And which of the 5 themes most closely represents this? Defend. Down under challenge 2, you have the same questions. Does this map represent more human or physical geography or both? And which of the 5 themes most closely represents? Okay, those 2 are basic. Part 3 is also basic. So if you get these 3 only done, you will have a score of basic on your assessment. This third one is no longer using those paper maps that you just wrote on. Those are done and ready to be turned in when you complete the rest of your lab. This is to be using the map packet in the middle of your tables. So you'll be sharing these with your classmates at your table. There should be 4 kids at a table maximum. And you guys can actually take the maps off of the rings and use them and just pass them around as needed and share them with one another. So the first question, 1A, for example, says, what is the largest area in Canada and the United States that is densely populated, over 250 people per square mile? So I'm going to take my maps and look for which map might give me that information. So as I flip through them, I find the population density map. Okay, so that's the one I'm going to be using. So for population density, I'm going to be looking at which is the largest area that is the most densely populated, over 250 people per square mile. So I have to look down in my key, find which is over 250 people per square mile. That's my purple. Which area, okay, in Canada and the US is that way? It looks to me to be the East Coast or New England. Okay, so on my sheet then, I would type East Coast. East Coast or New England. And then what are 4 cities in that area? So challenge 3 for the most part only uses one of each of the different types of maps. So especially if you guys are on different questions, you can easily share the maps with each other. The last couple, no, actually all of them on 3 should just be using one type of map. To meet the standard, you do need to do challenge lab 4. So again, if you just do 1 through 3, you'll get a basic. If you do lab 4, which is using various thematic maps, so it's using multiple maps, you will actually meet the standard. You need to get all of these correct, or most, I would say 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 of them correct in order to meet the standard. So it's not just doing it, it's actually getting them correct. These you're going to use multiple different maps. For example, name 3 states, provinces, or territories that produce more hydroelectric power than other places in the region. For that one, I'm going to look through and find my economic activities map and look for the 3 states that have the most hydroelectric power. Okay, as I write those in, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Washington, I then have to look up which physical feature located in that country or state or province helps explain why hydroelectric power is a resource from there. So then I would look at my other map, which looks like the physical features map. Okay, and I'm going to see if I look at North Dakota and South Dakota, I feel like a weatherman here, I'm going the wrong way, and Washington, the same physical features would be rivers. And hydroelectric power, that makes sense that rivers would provide that. So I type rivers here. So this map is more challenging because you're having to use 2 different types or more than 2 different types of maps in order to summarize and come to conclusions. So you'll have to combine maps. So this is a little bit more challenging, which is why it's the meets the standard version. The last one is down here, the extends. To get to the extends on this learning target, you need to use the field photograph, which I'll show you in just a second, It says study and take notes on what you can observe from each of the following thematic features below and come to a conclusion about which location you think is represented and justify your answer. So you look at the field photograph, which looks like this, okay? And I'm going to analyze this using each of the different thematic types of maps features. For example, I'm going to have to first look at the physical features map and look for location A, which is 40 degrees north and 74 degrees west, and then list the different physical features that I see there. So I would go to 40 north on my physical features map and then find 70 west, which I believe is right here. And then I'm going to, is that 70 west? Yeah. 70 west and 40 north is right here. The physical features that I see there are the Atlantic Ocean, okay? So back here, I would write Atlantic Ocean. I will do the same then for this next location and location C. I'll do the following with the climate map for the same thing for all three locations. Describe the climate that I see there, the vegetation zones, the population density, economic activity, and then using the picture, I'm going to try to predict which of those three locations that you guys recorded information on this guy is actually staying at. So back to this, I'll look at these and actually record, look at the stuff and figure out where do I think this is. And then my strongest evidence for that might be climate, or it might be physical features. Down here, which features, human or physical, were the most helpful and why? Okay, and that is the extends. So this whole thing is due on Friday of next week. You have 2 sessions today to work on it if you're in Discover. You have the rest of block today to work on it if you're in the regular class, and then extra time on Friday if you need it. Okay? Because each student got a copy of this, you just need to click Turn in the upper right when you are ready to turn it in. Don't forget to also turn in your paper map. The map for challenges 1 and 2 with your name on it. Don't forget to put your name on it. All right, thanks.